All right, let's dive into the world of engineered wood flooring, specifically those amazing options that are easy on the wallet. I know you're out there looking to make a great choice, something under 30 pounds per square meter, and that's exactly what we're going to uncover today.
Sounds like a plan.
We'll be exploring why engineered wood is becoming so popular, kind of digging into how it's made, and of course, revealing some top picks that'll give you that real wood look without emptying your bank account.
What's really cool about engineered wood is that, it's not just a cheaper option. It actually has some real advantages, sometimes even better than solid wood in certain situations.
Oh, okay, that's interesting. Break it down for me. What makes engineered wood such a rising star in the flooring world?
It's all about the construction. Instead of one solid piece of wood, imagine like a layered construction. You've got a top layer of real hardwood, which gives you that authentic look and feel, right? And it's bonded to a multi-layer core. This core is usually made from plywood or something called HDF, high-density fiberboard.
USDF.
Yeah, think of it like a high-tech sandwich, basically. Each layer contributes to the strength and makes it really stable.
So it's not just about looking good, then this layered thing.
Yeah.
It has practical benefits too.
Absolutely. This multi-layer core is what makes engineered wood way more dimensionally stable compared to solid wood.
Dimensionally stable. Okay.
Yeah, it's much less likely to warp or cup or bow, even if the humidity and temperature are changing, like in some rooms. That's why you see it recommended a lot for kitchens and bathrooms, even basements sometimes, places where solid wood could, have a bit of a tough time.
Makes sense. So many more options then. But what about durability? Does this construction affect that? I mean, all those layers, it must be pretty tough, right?
You're exactly right. Engineered wood can really handle the wear and tear of, everyday life.
That's good to know.
And here's where it gets interesting. The thickness of the top hardwood layer, what we call the veneer, plays a big role in how long the floor will last.
So thicker veneer equals more durable flooring. I'm curious, why is that?
Exactly. A thicker veneer means you can sand it down and refinish it multiple times over its life. It's like having extra lives for your floor. If it gets scratched or dented, you sand down the top layer, refinish it, and boom, it looks brand new again.
Well, that is a fantastic feature, especially if you're planning on staying in your home for a good while. So if I'm looking for durable flooring that doesn't break the bank, what kind of veneer thickness should I be aiming for?
For high traffic areas, or if you have, pets running around, aim for at least 3 millimeter. But honestly, even a 2 millimeter veneer will be great for most homes, especially if you use rugs and mats in those high traffic areas to protect it.
Okay, thicker veneer for heavy traffic. Got it. Now let's talk budget. There's this idea sometimes that budget flooring means you're sacrificing quality. Can you set us straight on that?
That's a misconception, really. With engineered wood, you can find great quality without spending a fortune. It's about knowing what to look for. Even under 30 pounds per square meter, you can get that real wood beauty, the look and feel, and it's still super durable, like we've been talking about.
That's so good to hear. Knowing I can have both beauty and affordability, it makes me excited to see some specific options.
Yeah.
You've actually put together a list of top contenders under 30 pounds. Walk me through some of those choices.
Let's start with a classic. The Cressington Engineered Smoked Oak Brushed and Matte Lacquered. It's coming in at 23.99 pounds per square meter. This one ticks a lot of boxes, really.
Smoked oak. That sounds so elegant. What makes this one special?
Well, the smoked oak, it brings a depth of color and like a timeless sophistication. And the brush texture, it enhances the natural grain, adds some visual interest, and feels great underfoot.
I can imagine.
Yeah. And the matte lacquered finish, it protects it, but still keeps that subtle, natural look.
Sounds like the perfect balance of classic and modern. I can see this in a cozy living room with lots of natural light. What else do we have on the list?
For something lighter and airier, there's the Calder Engineered Natural Oak Light Brushed and Invisible Lacquered. That one's 25.99 pounds per square meter.
You said invisible lacquered earlier, but remind me, what is that exactly?
Imagine a shield that's so clear you can barely see it. Invisible lacquer protects the wood without changing the color of the oak.
Oh, okay.
It's great for rooms where you want to keep things bright and let that natural beauty shine through.
Right. So it's like having the best of both worlds.
Mm-hmm.
Protection and the natural look of the wood. I'm definitely adding that to my must-see list. Now, for those of us who love a good DIY project, what about options in this price range that are easy to install ourselves?
We've got you covered there, too. The Cressington Engineered Natural Oak Oiled Click Look at 25.99 pounds per square meter is perfect for DIYers.
Click Look. Those two words make installation sound almost fun.
Mhm.
Tell me more about this click fit system.
It's designed to make installation super easy. No nails, no glue. Just click the planks together, and there you have it, a beautiful, secure floor. This can save you a lot of time and money if you're doing it yourself.
Very appealing, especially on a budget. And this one's oiled, right? What are the advantages of an oiled finish?
Oiled finishes really bring out the natural beauty of the wood grain. The oil soaks in deep, gives it a rich, warm tone, and creates a protective layer that's tough and water resistant. It's a great option for high traffic areas or homes with, those four-legged family members running around.
So it's practical and looks amazing, win-win. Any other click lock options in this range? I'm starting to see why they're so popular.
Absolutely. We've also got the Cressington engineered natural oak brushed and oiled click loke, also at 25.99 pounds per square meter.
Okay, so this one has that brush texture for added depth, plus the protection and richness of the oil. Sounds fantastic. Looks like we've got a lot of great options under 26 pounds. But for those who can stretch their budget just a bit, what's our top pick in this category?
For 29.99 pounds per square meter, you can get the Twickenham engineered natural oak brushed and lacquered. It's got that classic appeal, but with modern durability. The lacquered surface is super easy to keep clean, and the brushed finish really highlights the beauty of the oak grain.
Okay, so we've got a classic lacquered option, a brushed and oiled click lock, a natural oak with that invisible lacquer, so many possibilities. It's incredible how much variety we can find even within a budget. But before we get lost in all these amazing options, let's shift gears a bit and talk about some general shopping tips. Some insider knowledge to help our listeners find the best deals without compromising on quality.
Absolutely. When you're browsing for engineered wood flooring, especially online, you got to look beyond just the photos and descriptions.
Okay, I'm all ears. What should we watch out for?
Pay close attention to the specifications. Look for things like the veneer thickness, the type of core, whether it's plywood or HDF, and the type of finish. Don't be afraid to reach out to the retailer if you have any questions or need clarification on those details.
That's great advice. Better to be informed than to end up with a floor that's not quite right for you. What other tips do you have?
Always, always, always order samples. I can't emphasize this enough. Colors and finishes, they can look completely different in person than they do online. Ordering samples lets you see and feel the actual flooring, check out the texture, and see how the color and finish look in your specific space, with your lighting and everything.
That's such a good point. It's easy to get excited about pictures online, but seeing those samples in your own home can really make a difference.
Exactly. It's a small investment that can prevent a huge disappointment later on.
So true. We've talked about the benefits of engineered wood, seen some amazing options under 30 pounds, and even gotten some expert shopping tips. Before we compare engineered wood with other flooring types, what are the key takeaways our listeners should keep in mind?
The big takeaway is you don't have to sacrifice quality or style to stay within your budget. Engineered wood gives you affordability, durability, and looks great. And by understanding the key things like veneer thickness, core construction, and finish, you can make a choice you'll be happy with for years to come.
It definitely takes the pressure off and makes the process seem more manageable. Now I'm curious, how does engineered wood stack up against other popular flooring options like laminate and vinyl? Is there a clear winner, or does it really depend on the homeowner and their priorities?
That's a great question, and the answer isn't always simple. It's like comparing, apples, oranges, and grapefruits. They're all fruit, but each one is different. Let's take a closer look at that comparison. Each flooring type has its strengths, so it really depends on what you're looking for. Engineered wood, like we've been talking about, it gives you that genuine hardwood experience. It's warm, it's inviting, and it ages beautifully.
It really does bring a bit of nature inside, doesn't it? But what about that wood look? How does it compare to laminate? I know laminate has gotten a lot better at looking realistic these days.
You're right, laminate technology has come a long way. They use high-resolution images of wood printed on a composite core.
A composite core, okay.
Right, so it can look a lot like real wood, even with the grain patterns and everything, but it just doesn't have that natural texture, that warmth you get with real wood.
So visually, laminate can be close, but it's not quite the same when you touch it, right? What about vinyl? How does that fit in?
So vinyl flooring is made from synthetic materials, usually something called PVC, polyvinyl chloride.
PVC. Okay.
It's known for being really durable, water-resistant, and affordable. And like laminate, it comes in tons of styles and patterns, including some that look a lot like wood.
Okay, so we have engineered wood for the authentic wood lovers, laminate for a budget-friendly wood look, and vinyl for when practicality is key. But how do they compare when it comes to durability? We all want a floor that will last, right?
Let's start with engineered wood. Its durability really comes down to the thickness of that veneer layer we talked about.
Okay, the top layer.
A thicker veneer means it can handle more wear and tear, and it can be sanded and refinished multiple times. It can stand up to, moderate to heavy foot traffic, and if you take
Mm,
care of it, it can last for decades.
that's impressive. And laminate, I imagine its durability depends on that protective layer it has, right?
You got it. Laminate flooring has a tough, clear wear layer on top that protects it from scratches, stains, and fading. It's usually pretty durable, but the thing is, if it gets damaged, it's hard to repair. You can't sand and refinish it like you can with engineered wood.
So laminate may be a good choice for areas with moderate traffic, but not so much if you have, say, energetic pets or move furniture around a lot. What about vinyl? I know it's supposed to be super resilient.
Vinyl flooring is naturally waterproof, and it's very resistant to scratches, stains, and dents. That's why it's so popular for bathrooms, kitchens, and basements where you might have spills or moisture.
It sounds like vinyl might win the durability contest. But are there any downsides to it being so tough?
Well, even though vinyl is very durable, it can fade if it's exposed to direct sunlight for a long time. And it's worth noting that some vinyl flooring can release those VOCs, volatile organic compounds, especially when it's new.
All right, we talked about that with laminate, those VOCs. Something to be mindful of, especially if you're sensitive to them. So vinyl wins for durability, but there are some environmental things to consider. Let's switch gears a bit and talk about maintenance. Which one is the easiest to keep clean and looking good?
Engineered wood is pretty easy to maintain. Regular sweeping or vacuuming and the occasional damp mopping will keep it looking its best. Just avoid those harsh chemicals or abrasive cleaners, they can damage the finish.
Sounds simple enough. What about laminate? That protective wear layer must make it pretty low maintenance, right?
You're right, laminate is easy to take care of. It resists stains and spills, so cleaning up is usually quick and easy. Just be careful not to use too much water when you mop because moisture can get into the seams and damage the core.
Got it. Avoid soaking it. Okay, so engineered wood and laminate seem pretty straightforward to keep clean. How about vinyl?
Vinyl flooring is, well, incredibly easy to clean.
Yeah.
It's waterproof, so you can mop it without worry. And most spills can be wiped up with a damp cloth. Just make sure to use a cleaner that's made for vinyl floors so you don't damage the finish.
Okay, good to know. We've covered durability, maintenance, and even touched on those environmental aspects. What about installation? Are there big differences between the three types? I know we have some DIY fans listening in.
Installation methods can be different, depending on the product and what your subfloor is like. Engineered wood can be installed a few ways: gluing, nailing, or floating. Quick lock systems, like we talked about before, those make floating installations pretty DIY friendly.
Click lock systems sound like a dream for DIY projects. Are they common with laminate and vinyl too?
Definitely. Laminate flooring almost always uses a click lock system, which makes it a popular choice for DIYers.
So if you're comfortable with some basic tools and have a bit of patience, laminate can be a weekend project. How about vinyl?
Vinyl flooring can be DIY friendly too, depending on the type you choose. Those luxury vinyl planks or tiles, they often come with quick lock systems as well, which makes them pretty easy to install. But sheet vinyl, that can be a bit trickier. Probably better to call in a professional for that one.
All right, so click lock is the way to go for DIY, but maybe not sheet vinyl. Before we wrap up our comparison, I want to touch on sustainability again. Is there a clear winner when it comes to being eco-friendly?
That's an important question, and it's becoming more and more important as people want to make sustainable choices.
For sure. So let's break it down. Engineered wood, where does it stand on the sustainability scale?
Engineered wood actually scores pretty high,
Yeah.
especially compared to traditional solid hardwood, because it uses a thinner layer of real wood on top. It needs less timber overall. And a lot of manufacturers are using wood from sustainable sources, certified by organizations like the Forest Stewardship Council.
That's good to know. So it's a responsible option for people who love that real wood look, but don't want the environmental impact of traditional hardwood. What about laminate?
Laminate flooring can have some environmental concerns. It's made from composite wood, and that often contains formaldehyde, which is a VOC, a volatile organic compound that can affect air quality indoors.
Right, so there's that potential for off-gassing again, like we talked about with vinyl. Not great for those sensitive to VOCs. How about vinyl? How sustainable is it?
Vinyl flooring is made from PVC, and that's not biodegradable. And it can release harmful chemicals when it's being made and when it's disposed of. But There are some recycled and recyclable vinyl options out there now, which are better for the environment. The industry is definitely moving towards more sustainable practices.
It's encouraging to see those positive changes happening. So we've looked at durability,
Yeah.
maintenance, installation, even sustainability.
Mhm.
What are the key takeaways from this comparison that our listeners should remember?
I think the key is to choose a type of flooring that fits your lifestyle, your budget, and your values. There's no perfect answer for everyone.
It's all about finding that balance between what's practical, what looks good, and what you personally prefer.
Exactly. If you really love that real wood feel and want a floor you can refinish, engineered wood is a great choice. If you're on a tighter budget and need something durable and easy to install, laminate is a good option. And if your priorities are practicality, water resistance, and affordability, then vinyl might be the way to go.
There are a lot of factors to weigh, can seem a bit overwhelming. Are there any tools or resources out there that can help people narrow down their choices?
Absolutely. A lot of online retailers have these flooring finders or quizzes that can help you figure out the best options for you based on your needs and preferences. It's like having a virtual flooring expert right there on your computer.
That's a great tip. Take some of the guesswork out of it and makes it less intimidating. Those online tools do sound really useful, especially if you like to see the different options right there in front of you. Now, before we wrap up our deep dive into the world of engineered wood flooring, let's circle back to those smart shopping tips we talked about earlier. What are some things our listeners should really keep in mind when they're shopping for engineered wood, especially if they're trying to stay under that 30-pound mark?
Okay, so one of the biggest things that affects how long your engineered wood floor will last is the thickness of that top layer, the veneer.
Right, right. That real wood layer. So it's not just the total thickness of the plank, but that specific top layer. Why is that so important?
Well, the veneer is what gives engineered wood that authentic look and feel, like real wood. And it's also the part that gets the most wear and tear. A thicker veneer means you have more wood to work with if you ever need to sand and refinish it. It's like giving the floor extra lives, basically.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense. So what's a good rule of thumb for veneer thickness, especially when we're trying to balance quality with our budget?
If you're planning on living in your home for a while, and you want a floor that's going to last, I'd say go for at least a 2 millimeter veneer. If you've got high traffic areas or maybe some pets running around, then try to find 3 millimeters or even thicker if it fits your budget.
It's like an insurance policy for your floor.
Hmm.
Speaking of protection, you mentioned before that the type of finish is important too. What are the key things to consider when picking a finish?
There are a few different types of finishes, each with its own pluses and minuses. Lacquered finishes are popular because they're very durable and easy to maintain. They create a hard, protective layer that's tough against scratches, stains, and moisture.
So lacquer's good if you want something low maintenance, right? What about those brushed and oiled finishes we talked about earlier? What makes them special?
Brushed finishes, they're made by basically brushing away the softer parts of the wood grain, which leaves a textured surface. It really brings out the natural beauty of the wood.
I like that, enhancing the natural beauty.
And as a bonus, that textured surface also hides little scratches and dents better.
Oh, so it's beautiful and forgiving. That's great. And the oiled finishes, you were saying they actually soak into the wood. What's the benefit of that?
Oiled finishes, they give a more natural look and feel compared to lacquer. The oil goes deep into the wood, it kind of nourishes it from the inside, and over time, it creates this rich, warm patina. And they're super durable and water resistant too, making them great for busy areas or homes with pets.
Sounds like a spa treatment for your floors. They do sound really nice. Any downsides to oiled finishes that people should know about?
The main thing is that oiled floors need a bit more care than lacquered floors. You have to re-oil them every so often to keep that protective layer and keep them looking their best.
So it's a trade-off, that beautiful, natural look for a little bit of extra work. Now, those click lock systems, you said they make installation super easy, but are there any times when they might not be the best option?
Click lock systems are great for DIY projects, but there are a couple of things to think about. They work best for floating installations, which means the floorboards aren't glued or nailed down to the subfloor. If your subfloor isn't perfectly level, you might need to use a leveling compound first to make sure the click lock system works right.
So yeah, prep work is important, just like anything else. It's like building a house. You got to have a good foundation. Now, one last thing I want to touch on is ordering samples. Why is this so crucial, especially when you're shopping online?
Colors and finishes can look so different on a screen compared to real life. The lighting, the things around it, even the device you're using, all that can affect how a color looks.
It's like online dating for flooring. Got to meet in person before you commit.
That's a good way to put it. Ordering samples lets you see and touch the actual flooring in your own home with your own lighting. You can compare different options, see how they feel, and make sure the color and finish go perfectly with your decor.
Definitely takes the guesswork out of it and helps avoid any buyer's remorse. It's a small price to pay to avoid a big mistake later on. Any other final words of wisdom for our listeners as they start their flooring journey?
I think the most important thing is to choose a floor you absolutely love. It's a decision that will be with you for a long time, so take your time, look at all the options, and don't hesitate to ask questions. Whether you go with engineered wood, laminate, vinyl, or something else, make sure it fits your style and makes you happy every time you walk on it.
Well said. It's all about creating a space that feels like your own. And on that note, we'll wrap up our deep dive into engineered wood flooring. We hope you feel confident and ready to make a choice that you'll love for years to come. Happy flooring, everyone!